Welcome to the Phoenix Prosperity Podcast, where wealth meets legacy. Join your host, Tim Fergestad, as we explore the journeys of Phoenix's finest to success and beyond.
Hello, this is Tim Fergestad. Thank you for joining us. I'm very pleased to have Pamela Wirth with me here today. Pamela is the COO of Valley Regional Anesthesia Associates and founder of Hello Health, which I'm very excited to learn more about. Welcome to the show, Pamela.
Hi, welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
Excellent. So, welcome. You're a host of a podcast as well, which is called Hello Health, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about that first, and then we'll fill in. We'll work backwards.
Yeah, for sure. So I started the podcast following a family dilemma that we had with one of our kids, and so the podcast has mostly doctors that are focused on integrative and functional health, as well as people with really cool healing stories. And I had started it because one of my kids at the age of 5.5 had been diagnosed with Tourette's, OCD, anxiety, depression, and autism. They told me I'd have to take care of him the rest of his life. I decided, that was probably not true, or I wasn't willing to accept it. And I just kept digging and digging. And at that point, people said things like, it'll be allergy. It's just, kids are kids. It must be allergies. Let's put him on some Prozac. He looks depressed. I was like, I don't like any of that. The hospital even wanted to check him in for observation for 2 weeks. And I said, no, we're not doing that. So finally found a MD neurologist, originally from Asia, educated at UCLA. And this doctor said, hey, let's pull some blood work and find out what's going on inside. And what was shocking to me was no one had really talked about doing that.
Right.
You always do it with kids, but you don't really do it with kids.
Huh.
And so anyway, the blood work showed he was low in vitamin D3, B12, genetic marker MT.
This was over a decade ago?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So we have seen a bit of renaissance in the health industry, right? Which is, getting labs and the data and information age seems to be much better now anyway.
It is. And it's so much more cost effective now than it was then. I mean, I had to sell my car at that point to pay for it all.
Wow. Right.
And thankfully now you get away with it for, about $1,000 instead of lots of thousands of dollars. So.
Right. Okay. So that I'm sorry, you can go back to drawing all the labs and looking at all the different tests.
Lo and behold, we found out why, and the infection had crossed the blood-brain barrier. The doctor said, I'm going to teach you how to make supplements at home that use plants, probiotics that cross the blood-brain barrier that will kill and reduce inflammation in the brain. Not kill the brain, but kill the bacteria and the virus that had crossed over. And she said, remove gluten and sugar. This is all tied to the gut-brain axis. Give me a year. We're going to flip his system back around and he's going to be fine. And so sure enough, about a year passed, he popped back and hasn't left us since. So I ended up starting the podcast, sharing our story and other people's stories and other doctors that actually believe in getting to the root of why you have a symptom and why inflammation, which is pretty cool. And then I also wrote a book sharing our story, other doctors, other families, just kind of helping give people a roadmap to, if they do have a chronic or an autoimmune or an autism diagnosis, what do you do next? Is it really game over, or is there anything else you can do to potentially make this person's life better? So.
Right. And not just treat the symptoms, but
right.
Stop the source. Right.
Yeah. And I think that's true of everything. Even with my mom's cancer, they tied it back to a certain thing that she had done, which is almost like a flame going off. You have this underlying whatever, and if
exciting incident or
issue. And if too many things that cause inflammation in your body just starts to kind of freak out and present these other nasty things. And so,
right, your body's reacting to being irritated, and your immune system's being poked all the time. It's going to find something to go to work on.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So that's something I've realized in the past couple of years is just the inflammatory nature of fast acting carbs, sugar, all that stuff in general. And I'd look okay in a mirror, but I know that apparently I have a fatty liver and other stuff, which is all you get that visceral stuff, which the physician's looking at it, go, oh, that's common, right? It's common. it's even common in kids nowadays, which is more and more, which is it used to only be alcoholics, right? Back in the day, and so it's common doesn't mean normal, I guess, and it is an indicator to me that whoa, this is superficial, right? And what's going on inside, right, can be punishing to your body over time. And so it's one of the reasons why I've been trying to focus more on that and block all those inflammatory things that we consume regularly.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay, so you have your own lab company for lab tests and stuff. Can you talk about how that started and how that's going?
Yeah, so I started first with the supplements and then I layered in the lab testing. And so, you know, again, kind of going back to if you're not feeling right, what type of lab test do you want to do to potentially kind of take a look at that? And I would say that depending on your age, depending on where you live, depending on what kind of symptoms you're having, most people are well served by taking a look at food allergies, the presence of any viruses, bacteria. Lyme is a huge thing that causes a lot of neural and autoimmune type symptoms. Um, and then also taking a look at vitamin levels. I touched on the MTHFR a second ago. If you have that, you need methylated vitamins in order to absorb them. Otherwise,
Hmm.
they just kind of get blocked and they don't get absorbed. So removing anything with folic acid is helpful for those people, and about half the population has it. If you
Wow.
have it and you do methylated vitamins, that's great. You can also do non-methylated, but if you have MTHFR, you have to have the methylated. So, and that means like a B12, a D3. It's really common on the back of or on the front of vitamins to be able to understand kind of what that means. So,
Okay. That sounds like kind of like a compounding pharmacy, right? If you're making custom supplements and stuff.
oh, believe it or not, you even could get it at the grocery store, the methylated ones. They just sometimes cost a little bit more.
No, but your company, you said it started as a supplement company, making unique or custom
Yeah.
maybe ones.
Well, and I wouldn't even say custom supplements that are helpful for about half the population, I'll say. Um,
Okay.
and then offering lab tests that are cost effective to people so they can understand why they're feeling the way they feel.
Okay. Okay. I had a gentleman on the podcast from, I think he's up in Anthem, but he had a special company. I think it was, I think it was omitting vitamin K or something for certain people.
Yeah. Yeah, he's great. He's actually on our board.
Oh, okay. Excellent. Um, but and then that transitioned into providing the lab work to help get more specific supplements for people.
Yeah.
Is trying to figure out what they needed best.
Yeah, or just helping them understand what to potentially kind of do in their lifestyle and change. It could be heavy metals. It could be that you need a detox. It could be that, you're constantly inflamed because you're allergic to this one food, but you keep eating it. I mean, there's lots of things that can potentially be an issue.
Right. So, are there any common ones you see in people that see? I mean, there's in this day and age that keep popping up.
A lot of viruses.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of viruses that are kind of just latent, meaning that they're not like really active, but they're just kind of in your body and they can cause some major challenge.
In just basal long term presence, or whenever you get tired or down and they flare up and then they cause a problem, then they go back to some sort of latent
True.
state.
And it's really interesting now. They're finding that most autoimmune patients have herpes, or I mean, I'm sorry, not autoimmune, Alzheimer's and Parkinson's.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
they just came out this week that they're validating that there's a certain underlying virus that people need to be taking a look at. Anyway, um, it's interesting how you can potentially have viruses or bacterial infections that don't really show up very often, but they're
Right.
present. And
They have chronic effects.
yeah, and then a lot of people with teeth, root canals. Most people with cancer have had a root canal.
Huh.
Kind of
Interesting.
starting to think about the fact that maybe they didn't quite catch all the inflammation or all the infection, and it's just kind of,
Right.
yeah.
Right.
Anyway, it's fascinating that some of these things can really cause major problems.
Right. Right. I had an uncle who had an infection go from his tooth into his brain, and it was like fast. It was yeah, uh, very disconcerting. Um, okay, so what are some of the tests that people can do, or I mean, places they can go? They can go to maybe labs like yours, but to get what type of test to look for different viral components or activity?
Yeah, so we have all the tests on our website. We have a protocol. If people are really interested, we recommend getting tested for CMV, um, strep, which is DNase B, ASO, making sure you're testing for Lyme, EBV, which is Epstein-Barr, CMV, um, and believe it or not, there's a lot of tick-borne and mosquito-borne
Okay, yeah,
things.
you mentioned Lyme.
Yeah, yeah, West Nile.
So, is that Hello Health or is Hello Health just the podcast? Is it all related?
It is. So the website is gethellohealth.com. And so we've got supplements on there, lab tests on there. Happy to talk with people anytime and help them really kind of understand a potential journey for them to feel better.
Okay, yeah, that's huge. That's huge. So you wear a number of different hats. At the beginning of the show, I introduced you as I think the chief operating officer
Correct.
for an anesthesia group. And what you said you ran a big publicly traded company before then. What similar role? Have you?
No, well, sort of. My background is semiconductor to IT consulting to
Hmm,
hospitality to technology, back to consulting and starting my own company, and then COO of this managed anesthesia services organization.
okay, okay.
My
Um,
picture, I'm really good at seeing the problem and then coming up with a solution and making it happen. So I solve problems all day.
okay, okay, excellent.
Yeah.
What's one of the biggest challenges you've had in your professional career?
Uh, it changes by stage. I think in the very beginning of my career, it was knowing when to find my voice, knowing when to be assertive, knowing when to
Sure.
say no, knowing when to comply, like, just
You're new, you're not confident, and yet, yeah,
understanding that. Um, and then I think emotional intelligence kind of sets in, like, okay, kind of learn how to read the room, how to gain
right.
acceptance and approval before you get to a critical moment in decision making, problem solving, negotiation skills, um, when to fold the cards, when to keep fighting. So I've done startup up to public company, and the challenges can be pretty similar. And I've done it in a number of different industries now, both as an employee and as a consultant. And so, again, you kind of get to a point where you realize that they're all pretty similar. You take a look at the values, the culture, the metrics, the budget, the people, their roles and responsibilities, their strengths, are the right people doing the right things and the right things getting done as quickly and efficiently as possible? And do we have the best technology to support these things and semi-automate or automate where we can so then people can just like analyze and not
Right.
do and analyze. So it's yeah, it's fun.
Okay. And you've been able to bring that to Hello Health.
Yes, yes. Although sometimes it's easier to do it for someone else than it is for yourself.
Yeah. Oh, can you speak to that a little bit? Why or how that works?
It's just interesting. I think depending on if you're too risk forward or too risk averse when it's your own, it's just
Mm,
a little different decision making than when you're doing it.
sure. Okay. I feel that way like when I have projects with my investors, I have a totally different, I'm much more conservative, right? And so forth. I get that. Um, is Hello Health your baby alone?
Yes, yes. Solely owned.
Okay. So is that bittersweet? Would it be nice to be able to lean on some people once in a while?
It would be. It would be. I just have not met that magic um, person that I think would be a great advocate in the same direction. Um,
Okay. Okay. You have a lot of people on the podcast. I imagine are they mostly Phoenix based or
no,
Arizona based?
Yeah, no, all over. We even have people all over the world.
Nice, international,
Yeah.
excellent. What are some of the bigger things you've that or things that have changed your life, right? Big moments in the since you've started that show or the just the whole Hello Health effort.
Yeah, it's been it's improved my health and my family's health and people around me a lot. I've learned so much, and then in having doctors on that are also teaching me about certain lab tests, certain types of um, supplements, certain types of stem cells, certain types of treatments. I mean, it's really fascinating. And then, of course, a lot of what we're talking about now is detoxing and in a healthy
Right,
way. So are you doing that through nutrition, through red light, through hyperbaric, through it's just kind of interesting thinking about, what's the best way to help your body get all those toxins out.
right. Okay, yeah, that's a bit. Yeah, like I said, we're in a bit of a renaissance right now, which is great, right? With all the technology and the awareness, and people are starting to realize that the food pyramid was flipped and then was a lie, and all
Yeah.
that.
And my family was one where showing love was cooking those awesome desserts, and then later realizing that's not so awesome for me and my family. So that's unfortunate. Now we have
Right,
savory treats.
right. So, what are some of the bigger goals for Hello Health?
you know, uh, Making sure that we've got yeah, a lot of it now is around marketing. The website is not where I want it to be. Um, and so I need to create a better user journey and then making sure that I'm really communicating with people in the way they want to be communicated with. And so um, all the tools are there for the website, email marketing, the products, the lab tests. And now I think it's just really making sure that it's put together a little bit better. And then also offering more health coaching options for people that need their hand held through this.
Right. I think that's a great point because a lot of people know they should eat better, know they should exercise, but exactly how and why and how to set up a program that they can actually implement and to grow into it is the trick, right? Everybody knows how to be rich and have six pack abs, but actually making it a priority and putting down the habits to make it happen.
And a lot of the stuff is just scary. And you're like, gosh, I hope I'm making the right decision. And, you
It's a
know,
lot.
yeah,
It's,
really is. And
there's
a lot of this kind of rests a lot of the time on the mom caring not only for her spouse but her children and then her aging parents. So we end up speaking a lot to women or men will come to us and say, "Okay, can you talk to my wife or my mother now and explain this to her?" It's funny. Um, so a lot of the final decisions I'm finding are made by women in the family.
right. Yeah. Well, historically, the caregivers, which is what we're talking about. Back to my earlier question though, has there been anything like in the last 12 months or this year that's really changed your view of Hello Health or just life in general?
Uh, Boy, it's interesting. I don't know if it's necessarily in the past year, but one of the more impactful things was not only with my kiddo getting better, but with my mom. I've been taking her to Mexico twice a year now for her cancer treatments and
Okay.
had 90 days to live, going on 7 years.
Oh
And
wow.
so what we have found is she had gone the typical route with, Mayo and MD Anderson and um, done a lot of chemo and radiation and surgery. And she got tired of doing that. And she was feeling like she was really sick and she was super weak.
Sure.
Um, so, similarly to what we did with Hello Health, I kind of took a similar view and started researching how do you build your system up from the inside out if you have cancer. And we found some really incredible ways to do that in Mexico. I mean, there's other countries, but for us being based here in Arizona, it's super easy to fly over to San Diego. They pick us up, drive us over, um, and they're able to do things like, for instance, they'll take some of her own blood and they'll
Mhm.
pull out the cells that your body knows to zero in on and kill that particular type of cancer.
Right.
They take those cells out along with her own tumor and then teach her blood how to kill that tumor and then grow that to the millions and put it back in her body a couple days later.
Right. Right. That's a type of T cell treatment, isn't it?
Yeah, they call it like dendritic cells, LAK cells.
Okay.
So it's not quite stem cells. Stem cells are different, but similar idea. And some people will use blood banks, and some people use their own blood. And where
Right.
we take in her is with her own blood. So it really is. She feels great. She's got hair. She's got energy. She eats out. Goes to church.
Excellent.
So I told her, I said the goal is to die with cancer, not from it. And so,
Right.
'cause I'm not
Right.
sure you can really get rid of stage 4. I'm sure some people do, but I haven't really seen that. But
Right. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. That's very powerful stuff. And yeah, a good personal impact, right, in your family, but also, I mean, you're having an impact on all sorts of people's lives. Just, the health is paramount. It's what's the saying? Uh, Healthy people have 1,000 dreams, and a sick person has one.
yeah, yeah, that's it.
Right. So, do you have any initiatives coming up as we sort of close up 2025?
All right. I've got about 3 new products I want to offer. But again, I really want to get this marketing journey done. And it's great to do it here in Arizona. I'm 4th generation. So it's been a lot of fun to kind of see the town grow, although it's feeling a little big to me now, but it's good.
Right. Okay. Okay. So, as we wrap things up, I have a reflection question I like to ask people: is what do you wish you knew sooner about building wealth and success earlier in your career?
Oh
You
gosh.
already mentioned the different phases,
Yeah.
right, of being more confident.
Don't wait for it to be perfect. You're just gonna have to get started, and you'll probably make some mistakes on the way, but don't be afraid to ask for help.
Okay. Good one. Thank you. All right, Pamela. If people would like to connect with you or learn more about Hello Health and all that, where can they go? What should they do?
Absolutely. I'm on LinkedIn, Pamela Wirth, and then I'm also the website is gethellohealth.com.
Okay. And is your book on there and other things like that?
Absolutely. The book is called Saving My Son.
Awesome. Awesome. You could make another book about your mom.
Yeah, well, she's writing one, and so
Oh, excellent.
stuck on the title. I said that's the least of your worries. I said let's just get the book done.
Right. That's funny. Okay. All right. Well, thank you. All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening and watching. Thank you very much, Pamela Wirth, for joining me today. Very much appreciate you sharing your story and your insights into health and helping others and navigating these common, unfortunately, ailments that seem to be running rampant through our culture.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Tim.
Thank you.
Inspired by our guests? Visit PhoenixProsperityPodcast.com/guest and join us on the show and share your success story with Tim. The spotlight awaits.